My mistake.
There was just that love of making movies and that motivation to keep making movies because I was doing it with my family, and there was that fun experience with them and those memories that we were making, particularly more with my cousins. But I would write little ideas of what we were going to do. Everything was improvised. The dialogue was all improvised. But the story was planned beforehand. We just loved making films and just loved telling stories and making people laugh and just spending time with our family. I know when you may watch it, other people may not understand the inside jokes. It wasn't the greatest quality, but we enjoyed making it. Eventually, I think some of my family didn't want to continue making home movies. They just started to get sick of it. I think the last one we did, they were didn't really want to do it. It was more me kind of forcing them to do it because I wanted to, and we just kind of never did it again.
You said take 3 and then you said 3 again.
Was I coughing?
No, because it's still going.
Just delete it.
So in 7th grade, I was about 12. My English teacher, I think we were learning about advertising and marketing and stuff, and she wanted us to just make a commercial. And so I decided to do a Little Caesars commercial. I decided to base it off a scene from Home Alone, and I used scenes from that movie in the commercial, but I was the delivery man in that commercial. It was the first thing I ever did in video, and so just exploring video in that commercial that I did. When my teacher took me aside and said, "Your commercial won the best commercial in the class, and I want to use it to show the class next year." And I was really like, whoa, my commercial of all commercials, and that really continued to motivate me. And so it just started to wanted me to make more films and creative stuff to make people laugh. And since it was voted the best commercial in my class, that kind of encouraged me to just keep going and doing more. So when COVID happened, at that point, I had kind of stopped making movies and, all these, restrictions of what we couldn't do. I started getting a little bored, started making little movies at home. I made a little action figure short film. I made a little trailer for my friends for this detective. Continued with that detective. I made a whole series with that just because I wanted to keep telling stories that I wanted to tell. Even though there was those restrictions, so me and my sister were just making these films that we wanted to tell, sitting down, writing these stories, and then filming it. Again, it wasn't the greatest quality, but we just had a good time making it. And that kind of continued to spark my interest in making movies even more. My grandpa always did home movies just for fun. My dad also did the same when he was a little kid, always made little home movies with all his brothers. And I think I just did the same thing with my family. We just always made little home movies in our basement. And I asked my grandpa to be in this film, to have one little scene in it. He really wanted to do it. His scene is my favorite scene because just him in it, was the best part of it. It was a great experience and I loved having him on it. And so in the editing process, I continued to want to edit it more and more because I wanted him to enjoy it. I wanted everyone else to enjoy it. Kind of scared of what the reaction he was going to give. Also COVID as a restriction, and I just wanted to be there just to show it to him in person. When he unexpectedly passed away, it's something that I still regret, that there was those opportunities I could have taken maybe to show it to him, even though it wasn't perfect, even before COVID, just so he could see it before his unexpected passing away. Before I went to college, I started just on basic iMovie, just making films, and my dad had showed me a few things of what to do, and we loved watching movies when I was younger, old movies together, and it was all these old classic black and white Alfred Hitchcock movies, and go on these binges of just certain actors like Jimmy Stewart or Cary Grant, just hanging out watching them together and seeing if we liked it or not. And so we just had this kind of bond over films, and using that as a basis for the films that we made. And talking to my father, maybe in the editing process or even before in the writing process, of just coming up with ideas together. And still to this day, we talk to each other about ideas and pre-production and post-production of ideas to make it better. And then when you go to college, it was like a new level of filmmaking you learn, and you learning Premiere Pro, which is a whole other level of all these settings that you can use, and that kind of blows your mind of what you can explore in my filmmaking. Eventually, when it goes into post-production, you're seeing this movie that you've written early on is coming together. I want to get into, every facet of media, if it's graphic design, web, or video, that to the point where if someone needed me for any of those assets of media, that I could do, and then continue to tell stories that I want to tell.
I am not being paranoid.
And my family's always been very supportive of whatever I do, and continuing to give me ideas and in the production and post-production and what can make a better movie. And that's motivated me here in college to continue. And if it wasn't for them showing me all these movies, I wouldn't want to make movies, because these are all the movies he showed me. Me and my dad watch newer movies, and if he doesn't like it, now when I make movies, I always think, is he going to like it? Because I want to tell a good story and want people to enjoy it and have a good time watching it. That's always been my motivation for anything that I do.